Hey, and then this is the video, which is going to have three 16-inch original 70s black label 2002 crash models. Now, technically, one of the models I'm not sure what it is because the inking is totally gone on it. Again, my friend Bob, God love you, Bob. So this is he's a good man, I'll tell you, man. God love him for having all this stuff. So the only thing we have on this, of course, is the embossed 2002, made in Switzerland. And the serial number indicates it's from 79. So 9XXXXX. So, out of these cymbals, here's the other one. Let's do this one here. This is, of course, this is a nice clean 1979, because this also is a 1979 serial number. So look what happened. When you take care of your cymbals, when you don't. You know what I'm saying? So these are the same age. In fact, wow, these are really, really close, actually. Serial number. This one's only like 180 off. Anyway, so here's a Swiss-made, made in Switzerland, of course, 16 crash model, serial number 91XXXX. And then this is an interesting one because a lot of guys sometimes, some of the cymbals, the Paistes, were made in Germany. Obviously, they had two factories, and from what I understand, I don't know, I never worked for them. But what I hear and what I've read is that, like in a lot of places, Germany would do like specialty stuff, like maybe specialty models or gongs and that kind of stuff. But if traffic got really heavy, they needed to kind of help out Swiss production. I don't know. That's what I heard. I don't know. So this is actually a German-made in the German factory, 16-inch crash. Okay. The serial number on here is 159649. Now, technically speaking, you'd think this is from 1971. It probably is. But there's always the outside possibility. I don't 100% know. I wasn't sniffing around and crazy about Paistes back in 1981. So I don't know if there was maybe a little window of time in 1981 that they made black labels. Anyway, Bob is certain that this is a 71, so I'll take his word for it. But just remember, sometimes there's always that possibility. You don't know. Okay? Again, here's the embossed stamp, the ink stamp, crash, serial number 15964XX. Now, the interesting thing about the German things, and Bob pointed this out, I got to tell you, man, he is the true expert, is look at the 16. Look at that font. When you look on old Cymbals and stuff, and I actually have an old Cymbal 18-inch heavy that is ink stamped 505, because the Cymbals turned into the 505s, more or less. Look at that 16. You see that? See that 6? Let me show you something. And look at this 16. This is see, that's, well, you can't really see it, but the 16s on the, I'm going to just go like this and hope you can see it. Okay, so 16 here. So I'm moving it around to just see that 6. The 16 on the Swiss stuff goes like where you have the 6 curves back like this, like a G. So 6 like that. But with the German, look at that. It doesn't. It's like a slightly different font on the number. So 16 German, 16 Swiss, and of course Swiss, made in Switzerland. So now, unfortunately, I can't show this to you because it's so small. But you have to take my word for it. In the embossed stamp, it says it seems like the embossed stamp sometimes, at least what I've seen from Bob, that come out of Germany, they're a little fainter. So this, you can see, it says made in. I can see made in Germ. So Germ, and then it's kind of trails off. So German. All right. Now that we got that taken care of. And sometimes you'll actually see it's interesting. You'll see, like on old Zildjians and stuff, you'll see what they used to call, what did Bill Hartrick used to call it? Lathe chatter. I think that's what he called it. Where you have a little bit, when they're lathing it, you have a little bit of like when it's going around, it goes a little bit, and it leaves actually you can see on this 16 around the bell, there's a bit of lathe chatter, which is interesting. Anyway. So, all right, here we go. So, the weights of these babies are, made in Germany, 1120. So this is 1120 gram. This one is 1013. So this one is actually almost 100 grams heavier. And an interesting thing is, I've always said that generally speaking, Paistes, and I think all cymbal companies through like the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, they got heavier over the years, simply just to keep up with volume, and I think breakage started getting higher because, a thinner cymbal, people were breaking them, and the breakage factor went up. So I think they just essentially beefed up all the cymbal lines, So, everything. So a ride would get a little heavier, a medium would get a little heavier, a crash. So eventually the way I used to work it, I used to tell people, well, generally speaking, at least in the 90s when I first got into Paiste and the cymbals were heavier then, I'd say if you want, I went into the whole story how I ordered a ride. At that time they had a heavy crash and then a medium and a crash. I ordered them from Thoroughbred Music. And I found that, because I'd always heard Bonham played an 18-inch ride as a crash. Well, an 18-inch ride back in 1971, 75 was a much thinner cymbal than an 18-inch ride in 1992 when I did this. So I would say that the crash I had in 1992 was probably just maybe a teeny bit thinner than an 18-inch ride of the 70s, my opinion. Anyway, but what's interesting about this is that you have this 1979 crash that is 1013 in the gram department. And you have this 1979 crash, which is 1108. So obviously with Paiste, they're much more consistent, but they're not, they're not robotically consistent, you know what I mean? So you have 1120 gram on the German-made 1971. Again, there's a slim chance it could be 1981. I'm just pointing that out there just to be totally fair. You got to be scientific about it. I don't know. But now let's say the 1971 German-made, 1979 made in Switzerland, 1979 made in Switzerland, German-made, 1120, Swiss made in Switzerland, 1013, made in Switzerland, 1108. So 1108 and 1013, definitely from the same year, 1979, both made in Switzerland. German. All right. Get all the, you can tell that I'm crazy thorough. All right, so here's the 1979 made in Switzerland. 1979 made in Switzerland. Again, that was 1108 gram. This is the 1979 made in Switzerland, 1013 gram. And this is the made in Germany. We'll call it 1971. And of course it says crash right on it. These both say crash right on it. I'm assuming this is a crash from 1979. The German is 1120. So 1120, 1108, and 1013. Okay? You are a Frankenstein. So, here we go. So, so here's the basic pitch. Remember, I just want to be as thorough as possible about this. Made in Germany, 1120 gram. Made in Switzerland, 1013. And made in Switzerland, we're assuming it's a crash. All the ink's off. I think it is. Because they didn't make thin crashes then. A Paiste 2002 thin crash is a relatively new phenomenon. They made thin crashes in the 602s, but the thinnest you could get in the 2002s for a long, long time, up until not that long ago, like in the past 10 years, was just a crash. So here it is, 1108. Again, so 1108, 1013. 1120. Bob let me swipe one of these, or if a meteor falls on it and strikes him in the next couple weeks, I think the money symbol here, if I had to choose one, would be this one. Would be where the ink fell off, 1979, 1108 gram. I think this one, to me, sounds the best. But again, they all sound good to me. And if you were mic'd up on stage playing, they would sound identical. Even if you're 10 feet away, they'd sound identical. If you were recording, they'd sound identical to me. I mean, that if you didn't know any different, you'd think it was, I think, the same symbol. So great consistency. But like I said, sitting here, like in this proximity, whoop, this is the baby right here. To me, okay? So that's the 16s video. Okay, and now you know what I would hope for all us crazy, well, I can speak for me, crazy Bonham Paiste people. Well, I got to tell you, my Bonham and my Paiste are separate. But you know, it'd be great if I'd like to get a lot of info. You know, people could, you know, if they can, if they want to send me, if they have their own Paistes, you know, and they want to weigh them, if they can get a nice, reliable gram scale, and maybe say, all right, well, I have a 1976, you know, 18-inch Black Label 2002 medium from 1978, and I weighed it at this gram, just because I think it'd be nice to have. You know, I'd like to actually test. I mean, I'd like to, I'm sure it's the truth, but I'd like to be able, I mean, I've done it. I have found in eBay auctions and stuff and other symbols, and with my own stuff, I can't prove my own stuff because I never wrote it down. I just remember, you know, actually having a 1970, I think it was a medium from the 70s. Anyway, holding them in my hand, being like, wow, this medium is lighter than this modern crash. You know what I'm saying? But I did find a couple eBay auctions where I still have the data. I saved it on the computer where there is some proof. I could actually say, hey, look, this guy has this medium from the 70s, and this guy has this modern crash, and this medium is actually thinner than blah, blah, blah. But it'd be nice if, you know, we could have some hard data, in my opinion. So here we go. Now the next video I'm going to make, I'm going to throw some 18s up here, okay?